What is this? It looks disgusting.
Here, Mary, I'll take that. Thanks. They're snails. Can't you see?
Snails. Ugh, they make my flesh creep.
Eva?
Snails are one of our traditional New Orleans dishes. We cook them with lots of garlic, like the French.
Yeah, guess that's why Kathy always stunk of garlic. She's from New Orleans, too. She must have eaten these by the ton.
Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again.
Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doomed Show, the only podcast ever.
I knew you didn't have anything. I knew you didn't.
I am Richard.
I am Brad.
Welcome to our episode on Carrie to the Revenge. Oh no, wait, I already made that joke on the prom night episode, but this is relevant.
Yeah.
Yep. We should get all of our list of birthday wishes out of the way. You go first.
Happy birthday to my brother Ben, who doesn't listen to the show and doesn't care.
Happy birthday, Ben, B-E-N, that spells Ben. Listen to
He's
our
35
fucking
today.
show. You're so fucking old and irrelevant, so listen to our show. I got mean right there.
Yeah.
I lash
He hates
out.
you anyway.
That's what I do.
I tell people, I'm like, my brother hates you. They're like, what did I do? I'm like, nothing. He hates everybody.
I hope he hates our show.
It's just on principle.
He listens to all of our competitor podcasts.
They had a podcast on Ben. He'd listen to it. And then he'd critique it.
I would too.
What are we doing tonight?
We are actually talking about Aenigma from 1987, directed by one Lucio Fulci.
How could she be from Boston? She doesn't even know the names of the rivers that run through town. There's something strange about that girl. She has a total recall of another person's memories.
Would you say that this is his masterpiece?
This is his masterpiece if you take out the M, and it's just an Astorpiece.
Masterpiece.
This is not his worst film, but man, we got yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get to all of the good stuff. This is after he broke up with his girlfriend. Was it Dardano Sacchetti?
Right.
They had a little feud, and so Dardano wasn't writing films for Fulci anymore, which I believe was over something really stupid. It was like it ended up being a really dumb movie anyway, whatever it was. I probably have it in the thing I'm going to read later. And of course, it's an interview with Fulci, so it's his take on whatever their falling out was. So it's not objective.
They probably got in an argument over Umberto Lenzi.
Yep. They're always
there's like a lot of people don't know it, but I'm the one that caused that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's that Lenzi always taking credit for all the things in the world. All of them.
Exactly. He invented cinema.
So did I, but I don't fight with him over it.
Yeah, you don't talk about it a lot.
In my hands, I have the highly sought after and very expensive Euroshock collection DVD of Aenigma. Of course, I'm kidding. Nobody wants this movie, so it was pretty cheap.
It's out of print, but yet you can still get it cheap.
Cause yeah. It's just one of those movies. If you like snails, this is your movie, folks.
S-Car, go away.
S-Car, go fuck yourself. That's what Fulci said. All right, I'm going to read the back of the awesome Image DVD for you because, I think Image's Euroshock collection is some underrated awesomeness. I have a lot of these.
What else is there? Do I have something from them?
They put out that old widescreen of Horror Express, and they put out Tomb of
that's
Torture.
right. I've got that.
They put out... oh, man, I just have a bunch of their stuff. I love these. I wish I had all of them. I think they put out Wax Mask, too, which that's the one that's hard to find now.
Oh, yeah.
According to the back of this DVD, there is some kind of plot involved in this movie.
Let's hear about it.
After her snobby schoolmates accidentally send her into a coma, poor little Kathy only has one way to get even, with her mind. Ava, another schoolgirl, falls under the spell of Kathy's vengeful psyche, which is capable of horrible destruction, using telekinesis and even killer snails to do her bidding. Soon the hallways of St. Mary's School are filled with screaming, and there's no way to escape. It says escape. I want to say escape.
I don't blame you.
In the tradition of Carrie, this psychic shocker from legendary Italian horror maestro Lucio Fabian, the man behind such outrageous cult favorites as The Bedazzled and Zombie, is filled with visual still and gruesome madnos. His fames have come to Oxbrook. Available for I'm done reading that. How'd I do?
Sounds like you fantastically.
Fucking nailed it.
I've heard reading before, and that was some of it.
I definitely disrespected the memory of my favorite dead director. Wah, wah. No, I just didn't feel like reading that. It was fun, though. I'm glad I did.
Is he your favorite dead director?
I think so, yeah. He is. He's provided me with mucho joyo. That's Spanish for a lot of stuff. No, he's seriously directed my favorite movie of all time, as we talked about on this show. Good old House by the Cemetery.
They had, at The Great Escape, they had the DVD of that with the knife on the cover with the house in the background.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite cover.
Oh, it's the best.
I didn't buy it because how many copies of that do I need, really? I have several.
Nice. Yeah, you do.
What's my favorite copy?
The Blu-ray?
Nope.
No? What's the Diamond DVD?
Nope. Guess again, boyo.
The VHS tape?
The VHS rip.
Yeah.
That you put on DVD for me.
It's one of the few VHS tapes I actually own. This.
Man, it's fun.
Yeah. Has that weird intro music that's not anywhere else.
It's amazing how I love crystal clarity for a movie, but yet I also love muddy fish tank terribleness.
Exactly. You have a nice VHS collection going, man.
Man, I do. You're right. I agree.
Yep. Hey, let's agree to agree on that.
Let's do it.
And let's stop avoiding talking about this fucking dumbass movie.
Okay.
No, okay, anyway. So, this movie has an amazing opening song, which I'll play a little sample of right here.
You're gonna see that dream come true. Put on your red dress, you gotta look your best. Tonight he's waiting for you. He's gonna make that dream come true.
I think that song's been used in a different movie, I swear. The Kathy, who is played by Milijana Zirojevic, she is not only a fashion victim, she's kind of a face victim too. She is all crunked up. She looks like someone surprised her by like throwing a freaking hair dryer in the bath while she was taking a bath. Like, she's just crazy.
Throwing a big bag of ugly at her.
Whoa, doctor. Her friends, and I'm putting friends in quotation marks here, they are getting her all dolled up for her date, which is crazy because it's a guy and a girl, and she's totally naked in front of them both while they're giving her this amazing dress that no Yugoslavian girl would dare be caught in, dead or alive. Oh my God. So she goes on this date with this hunky guy, who I think is he Fred, the gym teacher that she goes on a date on, or is this some other guy?
No, it's Fred.
Okay, thank you. I was a little confused. They're in the car together, making out, and they're recording the makeout session. So everyone in their cars, hiding in the woods, can listen to their makeout session. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He's got a secret little button in his car to record it. The friends embarrass her, and she runs and gets run over by a car. And now Kathy is in a coma. She dies. Her body leaves her soul leaves her body. Her soul flies out over the tiny model city,
which was pretty cool.
Which I swear, like, I want to watch New Gladiators again to see if that city was part of it.
I think it was.
That would be awesome.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice miniature work, really, I think.
Oh, it's cool. Nobody does that shit anymore. It's awesome.
No, I miss it.
We meet Dr. Anderson, who is played by Jared Martin, who you may recognize from the New Gladiators and a bunch of TV stuff. Was he also in Bloody Moon?
I don't know. You know who he looks like to me?
Who's that?
He looks like old ass John Richardson.
Ooh.
From Murder Obsession era.
Oh yeah, he totally does. Yes.
That's who I thought it was for a while.
Nice. He would have been a little bit older.
Yeah.
By 87. Let me see. Jared Martin, Dr. Robert Anderson. No, he just looks a lot like the dude from, who was the dude I'm thinking of? From, frickin' Bloody Moon. Let's see, I'm gonna look it up.
I think Kathy's mad because it's a lame joke. It's like if you went into your kitchen and opened your graham cracker box and someone had replaced them with Ritz crackers and you turn around and all your friends are there. They're like, we pulled this huge, awesome trick on you. And you're like, this is the dumbest joke ever. I think that's why she's mad.
She just fell for the stupidest crap ever. She's like, don't put this shit on YouTube. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah. Then she got hit by a car.
Okay, so I totally thought that Dr. Anderson was played by Christoph Moosbrugger from Bloody Moon. They look a lot alike. They look totally alike. So yeah, not the same guy. Sorry, everybody.
Don't apologize for that.
I just did.
Take it back.
So yeah, he's the one who's taking care of Kathy in the hospital. There's some great I always have trouble with this word. Defibrillator paddles. There's some medical silliness that doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's not how you use those.
No, not at all.
At all. Don't try that at home.
Next, we meet a very familiar face. Her name is Eva Gordon. She's played by Lara Lamberti. Where do we know her from, Brad?
We know her from A Blade in the Dark. Yep. I completely lost it. But then I found it. Actually, Wikipedia calls her Laura Nazinski, which I know is not her name.
Oh, yeah. She's got also known as Lara Nazinski. She shows up at the school, and the school, by the way, is St. Mary's College in Boston. Mm-hmm. Boston, Massachusetts, by way of Yugoslavia and Italy.
Right.
What's really awesome is that Eva is going to be possessed by Kathy. She shows up possessed. There's no process of possession. She fucking shows up possessed.
Right.
It is not our normal practice to accept new students halfway through the school year, Miss Gordon. You are an exception. We decided to relax the rules in your case, not only out of respect for your family's name and your father's position, but also because of the nature of your illness.
I had a breakdown, Miss Jones. A mild nervous breakdown, and now I'm over it completely.
We meet Mary, the mute servant, who is, strangely enough, kind of like my favorite character in this movie. She's played by Dusika Zegarak.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, thank you. I feel a little sick now. I shouldn't have said that. We'll see her throughout the movie, popping up here and there. She is actually, spoiler alert, oh my god, let's not ruin this movie. She's Kathy's mother. Wah, wah, wah.
Wikipedia actually says Eva has somehow been processed by the spirit of the comatose Kathy.
Processed?
That's what it says.
That's good words. Kathy, excuse me. Oh, I'm getting them mixed up already. Eva meets her roommate, Jenny. Jenny played by everybody's favorite, Uli Reinthaler from Zombie 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who I don't remember. I just know that she's in Zombie 3.
Right.
She has a frickin' poster in her room of Yoda.
Yoda.
There's another important poster in this movie, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I have to remember to put this quote in our discussion right here. I don't remember what this quote is, but it's important because I wrote it down. I wrote, successful year quote. So now it's up to me to find that quote and stick it in the episode, whatever the hell it was.
Okay, Jenny. Let's get one thing straight. For me, a successful year means making out with as many gorgeous boys as possible.
I have a quote. It's, I hear you were kicked out of the Marines for cruelty.
Oh, Fred.
Fred.
Yeah, because we have to get to aerobics class. Fulci's bread and butter post Murder Rock. We got to have some frickin' aerobics.
Right.
So Fred is played by Riccardo Acerbi from a possibly upcoming episode, if we can get through the whole movie. Frankenstein 2000, directed by Joe D'Amato.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to try to do some Joe D'Amato episodes one of these days. And that one I'm very curious to see if we can, get through it. It looks a little rough. And
I also have a quote.
What's that?
That says, did you say bastard? You must be speaking about Fred.
Nice. Fred is a sassy stud who can't keep his hands off the girls' butts as he's slapping the students' asses. Somebody says that he has a pretty unhealthy reputation. And I wrote a dash next to that, and I wrote penile herpes.
Oh, gosh.
So I don't know. I don't know what I was doing.
But it's probably true.
Yep. It could be left leg herpes. I hate those.
Uh-huh.
That night, we get our first psychic attack from Kathy. She attacks Fred, which is amazing. So her body's in the hospital, and her eyes start glowing, and then Fred's reflection attacks him. And it's stupid as shit. So get used to it. Get used to the stupidity of this stuff. So the next day, the cops show up. We get a Fulci cameo. Fulci plays police inspector, and he's looking a little worse for wear at this point.
He really is.
Yeah, this is around the time when Fulci's health problems were catching up with him. He still has a few movies left in him, but Yeah, he's way skinny, like that baby-faced Fulci of his entire life up through the mid-'80s is gone. Now he's this
sadly
gaunt, bearded guy. But it's good to see him. It's always good to see Fulci.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way they go. You know, these macho types never know when to stop. It was the same with the man who invented jogging. They overdo it, and the heart gives out. It always happens when they least expect it. And the cause of his death? Heart attack.
Snail attack. For some reason, we find out that Kathy was from New Orleans, which is our connection to the Beyond. Look out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That's about the only connection. One of the other mean girls who perpetrated the attack on poor Kathy gets killed by snails. I think it's Jenny walks in and sees the girl covered in snails. We got snails on boobs. We got snails on armpits. We got snails on our frickin' face. We got heavy metal guitar playing. It's just wild. We have another poster here. It's the snail on the Rocky Balboa poster.
Ridiculous.
Oh my god. I might have accidentally skipped another poster. The one that everyone remembers from this movie. There's a poster of Tom Cruise in Top Gun.
It's important.
Oh, very important. It pretty much connects Fulci and Tom Cruise.
Probably the only connection.
You never know. 6 degrees of delicious bacon on your snails.
On your snail.
Oh, man. The snail scene is, like, it's amazing because it's stupid and ridiculous, but it's also really, really disgusting.
Well, I mean, it kind of taps into Fulci's nightmare kind of way of doing things.
Yes.
You know? Does it make sense that snails are attacking this girl? No. No, not really. But it does sound disgusting, right?
Yep.
Like if you were to wake up and you were covered
with
in snails.
Slimy, dirty snails.
Yeah.
Only the French people look at it and go, delicioso.
Yeah.
Or whatever they say.
Whatever.
Mamma mia, I'm a French. So since Eva is under this spell of Kathy, there's a fucking amazing moment when she goes berserk on Jenny in their frickin' room and just trashes the room. Like,
Eva! Eva! Eva, stop it! Eva, stop it!
I could watch that scene on a loop for the rest of my life. It's so awesome. Oh, man, it's so good. Eva and Dr. frickin' Robert Anderson start an affair, and there's some really great, awful romance stuff between them. Some cute but disturbing things, and I keep forgetting when I'm watching this that they're not in high school.
Yeah.
Because these girls are so ridiculous.
Well, when you Google this, the big IMDb window that comes up,
mm-hmm.
it calls it a thriller romance.
What?
Which I think is incorrect.
Oh man, no, it's totally true. We get to a pretty decent scene and get the museum sequence.
Uh-huh.
Grace, one of the bad girls, she's played by Jennifer Naud, or Naud. I have no idea who she is. She goes to the museum because she forgot something while the girls were on a tour there. She goes back for it. And it turns out she has the Stendhal syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So we get a nice death at the museum, which is ridiculous. Eva starts to struggle against Kathy. Try to fight the possession, and so shit gets even weirder. The headmistress asks Robert to start psychologically analyzing Eva, and it's totally great. I love that shit. But then they have oily sex. the oily sex scene that turns into the oily cannibal sex scene with heavy metal guitars. And a surprise, it's a dream sequence because Eva is eating pieces off of Robert. That's great. It almost felt like a horror movie for a second.
Just for a moment.
Eva gets kicked out of school, and she ends up in a loony bin. And Robert is so broken up about it, he immediately starts seeing her friend.
Right.
Oh my god. So, Jenny gets trapped in the hospital, and she gets trapped in the morgue. There's some cool lighting in there, some nice morbid... good old Fulci comes back with some, totally, like, a crazy morbid business. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
To speed things up a little bit, we get a beheading. We get Kathy's mom, Mary, pulling the plug on her to end her reign of terror. That's pretty much the whole movie. At least that's all I took notes on.
Well, that's because that's where it ends.
Yes. Well, oh my god, Brad. How'd you like this one?
Well, I don't think it's a terrible movie. I think it's got some stuff going for it. I think that it would be better. It would be better, well regarded if it wasn't Fulci. If it was just, I don't know, Deodato or somebody. Mm-hmm. I think people might like it a little bit better. It's basically Patrick with Carrie.
Oh yeah,
and that's pretty much it. There's no explanation for how Kathy does this. Where she found Eva. Some of the kills are cool. Like, Murder Rock is where I cut him off for the classic period, but then there's some stuff after that I like too. I like the new Gladiators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This may be... I haven't seen them all, but how many more good films does he have? Decent. How many more passable films does he have in him after this one?
After this one?
Yeah, Voices from Beyond?
Yeah, I like that one.
Is that pretty much it?
Touch of Death is okay.
What about Demonia?
Demonia, I hated it, but, I'm kind of looking forward to giving it another shot. It has...
I haven't seen it.
It has a make-or-break moment at the end that broke me beyond repair, but...
Well, there's House of Clocks, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's after this.
I like that.
I like House of Clocks.
I really like Sweet House of Horrors, but I don't know if that's before or after this.
I haven't seen that one.
I really like that one. That's a good one.
Other than House of Clocks, this is the latest Fulci I've seen. We tried to watch Cat in the Brain, but I did not get very far.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
But that's been probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Enigma is a bad movie. I enjoyed watching it. This is the second time that I've seen it. If we weren't committed to doing all of Fulci's films that we have available, I don't know that we'd have done this.
I think you're right.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's kind of hard to get very excited about.
Yeah.
I think the acting's pretty good. The dubbing's ridiculous. Fulci looks pretty haggard in his cameo. It's kind of sad. It's kind of shocking in a way to think that he was still not that far removed from some really, really entertaining films.
Oh, yeah.
You're within 5 years of a lot of good films still.
It's true.
From Fulci. And I think this probably had a decent budget.
Yeah.
I don't think it had a House by the Cemetery budget, but I think it had a pretty decent budget. I don't know for sure. The school's cool. I liked it. It's kind of fun, but it's just kind of hard to talk about in an informative kind of way.
Yeah.
What do you think? I don't own the DVD, actually.
I hated this movie the first time I saw it. Like, it was just a slog to get through, and it was at a time when I didn't appreciate the crazy stuff as much. I didn't appreciate the dubbing as much.
They have no idea, no way of imagining what I'm capable of doing to return to your arms. We may be far apart, but we're also close together, very close. Because I belong to you, and you belong to me. I'm yours, Robert, and you're mine, and mine alone. Don't ever forget that. Always and forever, mine alone.
So now I've kind of come around to this one. I actually, even though I've been talking shit this whole time, I do like this movie. It's silly as fuck, and when you compare it to any of his other stuff from the early 80s, it just doesn't even measure up even a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy enough and silly enough to where I enjoy it now, and it's kind of fun, and it's definitely a keeper. I mean, it's definitely something I want to revisit again one day when I'm in the mood for a laugh, you know.
Right.
And there are touches of style in it. Like I was saying, there's some great lighting. Pretty much all the hospital horror stuff, as dumb as the hospital things are, whenever they cut to Kathy in her mangled state in the hospital, it's really, really creepy. You can tell Fulci was scared of hospitals at this point, or has always been his whole life, it seems. We have some cool connections here with the cast and crew. The writer who worked on this, Giorgio Mariuzzo, he worked on House by the Cemetery, The Beyond, and Contraband. All better movies than this.
Right.
One of the producers, Walter Brandy, he actually is an actor that had by this point retired from acting but was producing films. He was in Terror Creatures from the Grave, Playgirls and the Vampire, and a whole bunch of other Italian Gothic movies. The score was by Carlo Maria Cordio. Did some favorites, Absurd and Pieces. Coming soon on this show eventually. He also did the score for Killing Birds.
That will not be me.
No, you're being spared that fate. The director of photography is Luigi Ciccarese. Shot Zombie 3, Zombie 4 After Death, and he shot Demonia, which we'll eventually get to.
Right.
I have a couple of little things from books about Italian horror I'd like to share with y'all. We have Fulci in his own words from Spaghetti Nightmares about this movie. Just a short paragraph here. The interviewer asks, your circumstances led you to make a couple of controversial films, which were circulated very little, or which, in the case of Aenigma, came out a year later. Fulci says, Aenigma is one of my best films of recent years. It was made on a medium budget and tells the story of a woman in college, a sort of Carrie, in which there are two characters, and describes how an ugly-looking woman takes revenge when her karma enters the body of a beautiful woman. It's a pity that it was poorly distributed. God bless America. It's a pity that it was poorly distributed in America. God, for the third time now. It's a pity.
I thought you nailed it.
No, thank you. It's a pity that it was poorly distributed in Italy, while it sold very well abroad, including America. One of his best films in recent years. Let's see about that.
You mean like the last 2 years, maybe?
That interview is in 92, I think, or 93. So just a few years before his death. Let's see. Stephen Thrower has something slightly similar to say about it. Aenigma was an Italian-Yugoslavian co-production made with a largely Yugoslav cast, although the exteriors were shot in Boston, Massachusetts. It sat on the shelf for a year after its completion before receiving limited exposure abroad, including a UK video release. According to Fulci, the film fell victim to a nervous producer who, doubting its chances of success in the home market, failed to distribute I don't know why I'm having trouble with this word. Failed to distribute the film in Italy, although records show there were a couple of screenings in Rome and Milan, and there were at least nominally an Italian distributor. There was at least nominally an Italian distributor. Nominally. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about it. That's your trivia from the Stephen Thrower.
Well done.
Oh, thank you. I could barely read tonight, apparently. I shouldn't have made fun of the Aenigma DVD case. That's where I get in trouble.
Uh-huh.
So I do have a question time for you.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Okay, let me find it.
Now, folks, this question time has already become legendary.
I hyped it pretty good, huh?
You're like, I had a question time, but I hated it, so I'm just going to send it to you. Okay. No, I read it. It's awesome. I'm not going to send it to you. And then you're like, I almost accidentally sent you the question time.
I've been teasing. It probably sucks, but I'll read it to you anyway.
I doubt it.
Here we go. If you could choose between a universe where Fulci had lived long enough to direct Wax Mask, his collaboration with Dario Argento, and the final product ended up being amazing, like Cemetery Man good, or a universe where in 1987, Fulci, without any health problems, traveled to the U.S. to direct a slasher movie with American producers providing the budget. Fulci would get final cut and an X rating for gore. Which of those two universes would you choose and why?
Slasher film in America with American money. Easy.
Nice.
And why? Because that would be amazing.
Yep.
Completely amazing. I've seen Wax Mask. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that at that time, in collaboration with Argento, it would have been less than amazing.
Right.
No, definitely an American slasher film. That, because I mean, he made slasher films. I mean, they're, after you get past 1978, they're still gialli, but they're slasher films.
Yeah.
So I mean, Murder Rock, House by the Cemetery. I mean, they're essentially slasher films. But no, with American money behind him, that would have been amazing, because I think the budgets are really what did him in, other than health issues.
Yeah.
I think you can see a steady decline in the Italian film market,
Mm-hmm.
Because when Argento came to do Trauma is a very American-looking film of its period,
Right.
with the hot topics of the day like bulimia and whatnot. I think that Fulci might have fared a little bit better.
Yeah.
It might. I don't know. I often wonder how much of Fulci, how much his health problems had to do with him just giving up. Because I have known of people that got sick but just gave up, and I think they might have lived longer had they fought.
Yeah.
And I've often wondered, and I have absolutely no medical basis to speak on this topic, but I often wonder if Fulci didn't just give up.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Tom. Yeah. It's a great question, Tom, because I didn't even have to think, and I didn't know what the question was, but I did not have to think at all. American money slasher. Here's my scenario. He comes to America and meets a vacationing Simon Wright from England, and they make the disco ball head slasher film. That's my scenario.
Which was released as, was shelved for many years, but eventually released as Prom Night 5.
Exactly.
Boom.
Man, you're giving me a hard on.
That's what I do on the show.
No, that would be brilliant. What do you pick?
I actually pick Wax Mask.
Really?
Sergio Stivoletti, the special effects guy, he ended up directing the movie.
Right.
With, I want to say, some, of what Fulci and Argento, the groundwork they'd laid together of what this movie was going to be. How much Fulci was involved, I have no idea. How much Argento was involved, I have no idea. The movie's very mixed. It has some good set pieces. It has one of the stupidest fucking endings I've ever seen, ever. I won't spoil too much, other than I'll say it was James Cameron inspired.
I mean, he was a neophyte director, though, right?
Oh, this was his only first time film. I want to say first film, maybe.
Yeah,
but the thing is, for lack of a better term, the skeleton of the movie that's there is really interesting. Wax Mask is an interesting framework for a good movie. Didn't turn out a great movie, but there's something interesting there. And I really feel like as dry and as frickin' empty the 90s were, the late 90s especially for Italian horror, other than frickin' Cemetery Man, this would have been a great goodbye, you know, especially if he'd lived long enough to actually work on it. It would have been really beautiful, and it is potentially some great Fulci, like set pieces, some Fulci weirdness is in there. So yeah, I think that would be good. But then again, I kind of created a better scenario with the American money funding a slasher, and especially in 87, where slasher movies were frickin' no holds barred, anything can fucking happen.
Right.
You rarely had a very by the numbers slasher by 87. Everything was so fucking crazy, and it was kind of like the last gasp of the slasher genre, you know, other than, you know, Freddy and Jason and all that stuff. So
right,
potential for a very weird, crazy movie there. So yeah, that was my question time.
That was brilliant.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Let's see. I also have a listener question.
Listener question time.
I've got a question from Michael. Michael is a Florida listener, so you know he's totally awesome.
Totally tubular.
Okay, Michael writes...
I don't know if that's true.
Here is a question for you and Brad. Did you introduce your significant other to giallo and Euro horror? If so, how did you start them off? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first with this one?
You go first. Great question, Michael.
Oh, I know. I agree. Totally. Lietta and I were dating in early 2000s, and that is when I started to get really heavily into horror. And I started to figure out that Italian horror had been a big part of I won't say a big part. It had been a key factor in my horror movie fandom as a kid. So I started to read about Argento and read about Fulci and read about Bava eventually, and started to find all these freaking wonderful gems and just bizarre shit that was coming out during that DVD boom. And Lietta was open to horror movies. She enjoyed that kind of stuff, so it wasn't too difficult to just bring her along that journey with me. So the only time I held back is when we were watching as much Fulci as I get my hands on. She started to have nightmares that were exactly what movie we had watched. So we'd watch House by the Cemetery, and she'd dream about Dr. Freudstein or a similar character. Or we'd watch The Beyond, and she'd be spouting off these crazy gore sequences that could have only been inspired by Fulci. So I started to give her a little break from all that goopy, that's her word, goopiness of the
good word,
the putrefied gore and all that good stuff.
The goopy meter,
exactly.
From, Fulci-thon. Yeah.
Yeah, she totally went along with that with me on that journey. So, how about you, sir?
I have not seen a Euro horror film that Elizabeth has not seen.
Nice.
We totally went on this journey together. When we got together, I had only seen probably a handful at best. And these are films that were readily available in the United States. I'd seen Suspiria. I had seen Black Sabbath. I can't really offhand remember anything other than that. And I've told the story many times, so bear with me. We went to the video store, rented Suspiria and Deep Red. Fell in love with Deep Red, as everyone should. And then just started our giallo obsession from there, which of course quickly branched out into other forms of Euro horror. We discovered Nashi together. We've seen films together as disparate as the Belgian film The Devil's Nightmare, Queens of Evil, to obscure gialli, Elizabeth is a huge Paul Naschy fan. For my 33rd birthday, I can't remember, I had gone on a trip and came home on a Friday, and the entire house was plastered in printouts of Naschy film scenes, and she had a Naschy cake made at Walmart.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. So we both got into the Naschy cast together, and we used to listen to episodes of that together. So really, she's been along for the ride the entire time. She's as much of an enthusiast and fan as I am, which is, you've got to think, probably pretty rare.
Yeah.
So everything that we have seen, I mean, from Delirium, photos of Gioia, to The Cat of Nine Tails, Elizabeth has been along for the ride. And not just along for the ride, but like a co-writer. But no, she's into it, and she always has been for as long as I have been. The Blind Dead series, she's got her favorites. She's a contributor to the Fang of Joy fanzine.
Yeah.
I think if she was just making it up or going along with it, I would have discovered it by now.
I feel like the thing to come away with is that we're both really lucky dudes.
Oh, no doubt.
A lot of people struggle with this kind of thing with their significant other, of trying to get them interested with their stuff. And yeah, we're just fucking spoiled. I know how to push Lietta's limits, so I tend to watch movies that I suspect she won't like on my own because, you know, and it's give and take. I mean, I watch tons of non-horror, like loads and loads of strange musicals and odd teen movies and animation, and it makes me a more well-rounded individual, so I'm not just focusing on horror all the time.
No, and compromise is not a dirty word.
No, that's the key to... I feel like we're about to give marriage advice here.
Yeah, really.
I just had the weirdest laugh. I'm going to loop that right now. That was amazing.
There you are.
Monkey laugh.
And it's not necessarily Euro horror, but Elizabeth has demanded that we buy certain things when they come out.
Yeah.
And she, one year for her birthday, she said, I want the Wicker Man, the little wicker box. I want that. And I'm like, okay. So I know that's not exactly Euro horror. It's English, but no, she's a big fan of horror.
Yeah.
Big fan.
One of my favorite moments in the Giallo Meltdown book is Lietta and I were watching The House That Screamed, La Residencia.
Uh-huh.
And we had to stop it and go to sleep because we were too tired to finish it. And at breakfast, we were out at a restaurant, and she said that she couldn't wait to get home and watch the rest of it. She couldn't quite remember how it ended, and she was really excited about it. And I was like, okay, marriage is good.
Uh-huh.
Let's stay together.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it right now. Lietta is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's drawing the cover for the next zine, and she drew the cover of the book. She drew a picture of Elvis Presley stabbing Dracula with a guitar while they're riding in a race car together.
You just blew my freaking mind.
I have to repress the memory of that picture because my mind keeps getting blown every time I remember it.
Oh, I'm going to have to see this picture now.
Oh, yeah. We'll make it happen.
Heck yeah.
I'll hook you up, brah. So there you go. There's Aenigma from 1987, Lucio Fulci, the movie we kind of talked about, but it got all the attention it needed from us.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's not the worst Fulci.
Yep. We're coming up on that. We're going to I don't know when we're going to get to it, but we got some bad Fulci coming.
Yeah. We went about this all wrong.
Hopefully some accidental gems.
I hope so.
You know what's interesting? Stephen Thrower makes a pretty good case for a movie I have yet to be able to watch. The Devil's Honey.
Interesting.
His like sexy thriller that he did right before this. He spins a pretty interesting take on it. So maybe we'll check it out on this show. Who knows? If either of us can get through it, then we'll just talk about it.
We do have the Summer of Fun coming.
Oh man, yeah. We got the lineup for the rest of this summer is badass.
Yes, and there's going to be some autumn of dumb season as well. So there'll be some Halloween films, and we're so far ahead that it's going to work.
Yeah, we're actually got episodes up the yin yang, as the kids call it.
Yeah, some good stuff's coming.
Yeah,
and I know you've got lots planned with Jeffrey, and you might have some other things planned with other people.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's all true.
So it's going to be an all-star year. It already has been.
I know. It's been a lot of fun this year. Holy shit.
The prom night megasode.
Yeah, how'd you like that one, people? Damn.
Son of a gun. Everything's all right. Nominally.
I think that was the life-changing episode right there. That was so good.
It changed my dang life.
Heck yeah. Folks, thanks for listening. Have a wonderful time listening to us again, because I know you're going to start this episode over right now as it's over.
Right now.
You're obsessed with Brad. Just tell me.
Nominally. Distribution.
Nominally isn't even a word now. It's like a state of being, man. Hashtag nominally.
Hashtag.
Hashtag fuckbag. Babbity boo.
Bing.
Good night.
See ya.
If you would like to contact Hello, this is The Doomed Show. Please email us at doomedmoviethong@gmail.com or check us out at facebook.com/Hello Doomed Show. We are also on Twitter. Sorry about that. @DoomedMovieThong. Hashtag Hello Doomed Show. For the old ass episodes that you missed, find our archived episodes at doomedmoviethong.com. Don't forget to eat fruit and veggies.
Uncommon Interest, a podcast that takes you off the beaten path and kicks your ass. Your host, Craig Chaos, plays you music and discusses films and comic books. So stop on by and listen at uncommonInterest.libsyn.com and get cool uncommon music and awesome stuff at uncommoninterest.bandcamp.com.
Don't come running to me when you wake up in the city morgue with a tag on your toe having been beaten to an unrecognizable
Uncommon Interest.
Cinema Inferior.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Join Sparkle City Film and the SARS for Cinema Inferior. We only review the best horror and sci-fi movies.
It puts the B in B-movie, that's for sure.
As a result, we take the show seriously, and our approach is very sober.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing 9 from Outer Space, man. I had to crack a Coors Light on that one.
We appreciate our audience and respect your input.
You know what? I'm sorry, but you're all wrong, and you should burn in hell.
And in return, we bask in the adulation of our adoring fans.
You know what? Fuck your podcast.
So join us bi-weekly for the show. Hurry home. And don't forget the plot giveaway. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Cinema Inferior.
Available on Stitcher, iTunes, at cinemainferior.com, and a member of the Tangent Bound Network.
Hello, my name is Rod Barnett.
I'm Troy Gwynn.
And we are your genial co-hosts for NashyCast, the podcast about the films of Paul Naschy. If you don't know who Paul Naschy is, you need to learn.
Spanish horror icon, writer, director, actor, makeup artist.
He is all of these things and more. Paul Naschy, one of the greatest genre filmmakers of all time. New titles like Horror Rises from the Tomb,
Vengeance of the Mummy, Werewolf Shadow,
House of Psychotic Women,
Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll,
Mark of the Werewolf make you want to see more.
Watch the film, then come hear our stunning, brilliant commentary.
Stunning and brilliant. That's us. Think that's too egotistical? Think that sounds silly? Think we come off as assholes?
Look, if nothing else, let us tell you this. Blood, nudity, beautiful women, werewolves and turtlenecks.
Nipples. Lots of nipples. Both male and female. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's going to want to listen to us after this, man. Find us at The Bloody Pit of Rod, or
you can subscribe to us on iTunes.
Give us a listen. And if we scare you too much, well, maybe Spanish horror is not your thing. I don't know.